Good day, students. You're welcome to our class. The topic we're considering today is towards better health. At the beginning of the term, we looked at microorganisms around us. Then we moved on to concept of culturing. After that, we discussed microorganisms in action. So basically, most of the things we'll be discussing this term has been centered on microorganisms. We'll be rounding up that series with this topic, towards better health. So here are the objectives of the lesson. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe some ways by which disease-causing organisms can be controlled, state the ways of controlling vectors, list ways of protecting ourselves from diseases caused by microorganisms spread by vectors, describe some methods used in disposal of refuse and sewage, state the roles of individuals should play to ensure good health, name some international health organizations, and provide some description of what they do. Infectious diseases contribute greatly towards the poor health of people in developing countries. To move health towards better health, we have to control disease-causing microorganisms and their animal vectors and improve public health facilities. Now we'll be looking at control of disease-causing microorganisms. Harmful microorganisms can be controlled in the following ways. 1. The use of high temperature. This involves sterilization by boiling, autoclaving, or heating of food and other products to kill disease-causing microorganisms as they are killed or destroyed at very high temperatures. An autoclave is just a machine used for sterilization. The high temperature in an autoclave helps to kill all pathogens or disease-causing microorganisms that may be present in the instrument that is being sterilized. Another way of controlling disease-causing microorganisms is through the use of drugs or antibiotics. Many diseases can be controlled through the taking of drugs or antibiotics in order to kill the microorganisms. Antibiotics are chemicals which, in low concentrations, can selectively kill or inhibit the growth of most pathogenic microorganisms. Antibiotics are produced by microorganisms like bacteria and fungi and are not harmful to humans. A common example of an antibiotic that is produced from a microorganism is the drug penicillin, which is produced from a fungi called Penicillium. Another way of controlling disease-causing microorganisms is through high salinity. Some foods are preserved by salting, which was a very common method of preserving food before refrigeration was discovered. A high salinity damages the cell walls of microorganisms and stops them from growing well. Use of antiseptics and disinfectants. Antiseptics and disinfectants are chemicals that kill or stop microorganisms from growing. Disinfectants are stronger than antiseptics. Antiseptics are usually mild chemicals or dilute solutions that can be safely applied on body surfaces. Antiseptics are therefore used on cuts, abrasions, and wounds on our skin to prevent infection by inhibiting microbial growth. Examples of antiseptics are Dettol, hydrogen peroxide, and tincture of iodine. Disinfectants are stronger chemicals than antiseptics and so are often used on non-living things and surfaces. Carbonic acid is a common disinfectant used for disinfecting lavatories and floors. Dehydration. Water is essential for the growth and multiplication of microorganisms, as we all know. Removal of water or dehydration would therefore inhibit microbial growth. Many foods are preserved by dehydration methods such as drying. Quarantine services. Quarantine services or isolation of infected animals should be done to curtail the spread of disease-causing microorganisms. Destruction of vectors of diseases. Vectors of diseases such as mosquitoes, house flies, etc. should be destroyed to prevent the spread of diseases caused by them. Personal hygiene. Personal hygiene such as washing of hands before and after meals, before preparation of food, after every defecation, etc. should be practiced regularly to prevent or check the spread of pathogenic microorganisms. Vectors. Vectors are animals that transmit disease-causing organisms. The most important vectors of diseases are insects and rodents. Insect vectors include mosquitoes, butterflies, tsetseflies, lice, and fleas. Common rodent vectors include rats and mice. Animal vectors are a nuisance. They all have an impact on our lives in one way or the other. But more importantly, they play a large role in the spread of some of the communicable fatal diseases responsible for untold human suffering. Here you have some common examples of vectors: flies, fleas, ticks, mites, mosquitoes. You can do well to find out the diseases transmitted by some of these vectors. Now, control of vectors. How do we control vectors of diseases? The diseases carried by vectors have no means of infecting man except through vectors. If therefore vectors could be effectively controlled, the diseases that they carry would have been put in check. To control vectors, we have to know their habits and life cycles. With this knowledge, we can use environmental, biological, and chemical methods to control a given vector. Control involves killing the vector where it lives, where it breeds, or where it feeds. For example, if we can successfully eliminate mosquitoes, then we are sure that malaria will be a thing of history. Controlling infectious disease. Individual behavior plays a very large part in preventing the spread of infectious disease. We can achieve this by maintaining good health and practicing good personal hygiene habits. We can maintain good physical and mental health by eating a balanced diet, doing regular exercise to keep the various parts of the body parts in a healthy condition, resting the body mentally and physically through recreational activities and sleep, keeping yourself and your environment clean, finding work that is suited to your mental and physical capabilities. Bad habits like excessive smoking and drinking of alcohol and drug addiction ruin the health of a person, so you must be careful not to acquire these habits. How can a community maintain good health? Effective public health administration in a community can be achieved through the following ways: proper disposal of refuse discharged through human activities from homes and industries, proper sewage disposal, protection of water from disease-causing organisms, protection of both cooked and raw food from pathogenic organisms. This will help to prevent the spread of foodborne diseases like diarrhea, sore throat, food poisoning, and cholera. Health organizations. Health organizations are corporate, either local and international bodies concerned with the maintenance of good health of the people. International health organizations include the World Health Organization, United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, International Red Cross Society. The major health organization in Nigeria is the Nigerian Medical Association. Local and international health organizations cooperate with governments to improve the health of the people and control diseases. Some of the roles of UNICEF include to provide emergency needs of children in devastated areas, to improve the nutrition of undernourished children, to feed destitute children, to supply vaccines or equipment to prevent or control diseases that specifically affect children. The Red Cross Society, in times of war, they help to take proper care of the injured. They provide emergency aid to those in distress. They are involved in the negotiation of the exchange of prisoners of wars between countries. In times of peace, they provide general first aid to patients. They assist in preventing accidents. They assist in training of nursing aides. They also help to maintain maternal and child welfare clinics. While the Nigerian Medical Association helps in advising the government on how to improve the health status of the people, it also helps in alerting the nation where there is an outbreak of a disease. It helps in carrying out research into ways of preventing and controlling diseases. In summary, we've been able to look at some ways by which disease-causing organisms can be controlled. If you remember, we mentioned ways like dehydration, use of drugs or antibiotics, use of high temperatures, and so on and so forth. We also looked at the ways of controlling vectors. We said for us to be able to control vectors, we need to have a proper knowledge of their habitat, where they breed, where they live, and where they feed. By doing that, we'll be able to understand their life cycle and effectively control them using either biological, chemical, or physical control methods. Also, we're able to look at the ways of protecting ourselves as individuals from diseases caused by microorganisms. We also looked at the methods through which a society can maintain good health. Then we're able to look at some of the health organizations, local and international health organizations, and a brief description of their activities. Thank you, every one of you. See you in the next class. Bye.